you, my friend. And, you know, whenever you tell me to pay really close attention, I pay attention. And you were telling me now for the last few days, and here we are.
Yeah, well, here's what's going on. I'm going to cut to quick because you do have a lot of news going on. Harvey is going to intensify very rapidly now, and it's something that we've been seeing for quite some time. In fact, our preseason forecast on May 12th said this would be the year that the hurricane drought ended because of the patterns in close to the United States. And you're noticing storms aren't really developing out near Africa. They're waiting until they get further west, like we saw with Franklin, even Gert, which went off the East Coast. But here's what's going to happen with Harvey. It's going to be a Cat 2 to Cat 3 tomorrow morning, and it will be located tomorrow morning about 150 miles east-southeast of Brownsville. The landfall is coming near or just north of Corpus Christi as a Category 3 or 4 hurricane early in the morning on Saturday. Now, let me stress how important this track is. If this can hit up a little bit north of Aransas Pass, and you know, we got a lot of people living here.
You speak in terms that nobody understands. You got to get big cities so everyone gets you here.
Okay, well, Aransas Pass, I'm talking to our listeners in Corpus now on KKTX here. If we can hit this north of Aransas Pass, it could spare the city the worst of what will be at least as bad as Celia, and perhaps even more. If you live in Corpus Christi and you went through Celia, that's your benchmark storm. That went from a Category 1 to a Category 4 in a period of 24 hours. If this storm, Sean, comes in just south of Corpus Christi, the way the bay is shaped and everything else is a disaster for Corpus Christi. As it is, there's going to be severe damage around that area.
Well, I just want to make sure we're clear, because I take everything you say seriously, and honestly, I give you a hard time the one or two times over the years you might have been inaccurate, but you always give the best and worst case scenarios. But in all honesty, when you say that it's going to be that bad, are you talking about Katrina-like forces here or close?
Well, I don't know if we want to compare it to Katrina. It's a different beast, and I'll tell you why. Let me get to the rest of the story. It stalls near Corpus, makes a tight loop around Corpus, and comes back out into the Gulf of Mexico Sunday night. Okay? Now, wait a minute. Then it hugs the Texas Gulf Coast all the way up to the Golden Triangle. And what we're forecasting of weather.
Explain the Golden Triangle so people know.
That's Beaumont, Port Arthur. But it will pass maybe 15 to 30 miles south of Galveston while it's doing this as a Category 2, 3, or 4 hurricane. It may be a major hurricane on
it just sits there and goes up slowly.
Yeah. And here's a big problem around the Houston area. You will not get winds as bad as Ike. I don't think you'll get winds as bad as Ike, but you may have rains near or more than Allison. Okay, people in Houston know what I'm talking about. All right, for Galveston, it's almost an unbelievable problem. It's something I outlined on our blog the other day. The storm surge comes as the storm is going by. The wind is coming from the southeast, piling water into Galveston Bay. In the meantime, all the water is coming down the rivers from all the heavy rain, the Trinity River and the San Jacinto River, and all these rivers are coming in and they're piling water up. The storm goes by, the wind shifts to hurricane force out of the north, so what happens to Galveston is the bay side may take a hit as if a storm surge came from the ocean. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you've been to Galveston, you know the seawall protects the main part of the city from the ocean. But there's no protection from the back bay if the bay is enhanced with Gulf water that's poured in and the rainwater. So we are looking at a situation, and I don't want to overplay this, but I got to say, there's potential to cut off Galveston Island with this thing. And so we have to understand what we are looking at in the entire area. Now, Carla, in 1961, and I lived in Texas, and people know.
Well, my niece, lives in Houston, and then I keep asking you what's going on. I emailed her today, and I said you better take it seriously.
Yeah, she's got to take it seriously. The Houston area, it's rain. There will be power outages in there. I think you're going to see 50, 60, maybe 70 mile an hour wind gusts in Houston. It's the coast that gets it. And Houston storm, folks, comes Monday into Tuesday, I think. This is Corpus's storm, Friday night, Saturday into Sunday, and then it works its way up along the coast. Is there a reason this is happening? Is something strange? No, we see storms get caught and blocked all the time. There's going to be, but they do it out in the middle of the Atlantic, so no one even cares about it. This is getting blocked near the Texas coast, and there's going to be 20 to 30 inches of rain from Corpus all the way to Houston and on into southwest Louisiana, Lake Charles, and some of these places are going to get hit bad. If you think that is bad, when Hurricane Flora stalled over eastern Cuba for 4 days in 1963, 100 inches of rain at Santiago de Cuba. So the point of the matter is that what you are seeing is an event for the tropics. It's unusual for Texas, but it is certainly well within the realm of things that, when you war game hurricanes and you start thinking about the worst case scenarios, you think about things like this.
Let me ask this question, and it's the practical question that I always ask you every time one of these issues comes up, and that is that what advice do you give people now in specific areas to do? Because do you want some people to get out, some coastal people to get out? Do you think, I just like to give people practical advice, because those are the questions I ask you every time you try and scare the crap out of me that something's coming here.
Yeah, well, and, Irene and Sandy, you're Joe.
Yeah, really, I mean, you have to remind me, right? You have to go right at me. Go ahead.
All right, but...
No, but the point is that, as I'm just telling everybody, Joe is rarely wrong, so that's why, we love you so much, and I just want people to be prepared.
Well, I'd like to think it was because of my good looks and personality, but...
No, it's not that you don't have good looks or personality, so what's the point? Your son has all of that, but